you better say that. The best talk show, you better say that. The guests on the show, you better say that. Give knowledge and hope, you better say that. Outsider, that's the host, you better say that. Spread love and faith, you better say that. God steer away the hate, you better say that. We all gonna be great, you better say that. Work out passion, not pay, you better say that. Oh yeah, you better say that, say that. Oh yeah, you better say that. Oh yeah, you better say that. You better say that. The best talk show.
Hello and welcome to the You Better Say That talk show. I'm your host, Ms.Sandra Thornton, and I am so excited that you took the time to join us today. March is Women's Health Month. We want to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments and the contribution women have made to our community, our state, our country, and even our world. Our special guest today is Ms.Sandra Thornton, all the way from West Point, Georgia. She is a mother, a grandmother, she is a councilwoman, a beauty queen, and so much more, who loves her community and she loves those that she serves. Miss Sandra, thank you so much for being here today.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Actually, we've been trying to do this for 2 years.
Yes.
And so, God's timing.
Yes, and this is our time. This is our time, right?
Yes, it is.
And I'm so
Yes, it
excited
is.
that she is here. Doesn't she look beautiful? She is the queen of all queens. Thank you so much for being here again today. You look gorgeous, and we're going to have an awesome conversation. I'm so excited to hear what you're doing. And, you have been working in the community. You have been working in the body of Christ for a long time, and you have so much wisdom and so much knowledge and so much experience that we want to hear about today. How about that?
Let's roll.
Let's go.
Let's
All right
roll.
then. Awesome. I love it. So listen, tell us just a little bit about yourself and your family and your education.
Well, I have, we lost one of my brothers, actually Edward, and we lost Edward a year ago, actually about this time.
Wow.
And so there is a missing link within my family. I am, if there was a middle of 8, I am the 5th.
Okay.
I have 3 sisters and, of course, with my 4 brothers.
Wow.
My dad was a strict Baptist minister.
Yes, he was.
And when you were talking about the fact, how was it growing up? All those stories about you got to be in the house before the street light comes on. You couldn't go out. He didn't like us doing a lot of things. And I realized that it was for our good.
Yes. So because now when you look at, you did your kids the same way.
I did. I did. I was the strict one.
Me too.
But they all turn out perfect in my eyes and in God's eyes. So it's okay.
I love it. Yes. And you have what, two boys and a daughter.
Yes.
Okay. And tell us just a little bit about that.
Naomi, and of course Jason. I tell everyone I have the preacher.
Yes.
Michael Winston, the teacher, Naomi Thornton, and the politician, Jason Winston. I never thought that, I never thought that one of them would go into politics.
Yes, what does he do?
He's actually the city council member for District 1 in Atlanta.
Oh, wow, that's huge.
And he won the very first time that he ran. So I'm just so proud of all of them. Naomi, during COVID, lost her job. She was working at Atlanta child care, health care. And of course, she was working with children that are autistic.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So when COVID hit, the children couldn't come.
Sure.
So she lost her job.
Oh, wow.
And so she decided, Mama, just do what I want to do. And so she went back to school and got her master's in education. And she works for Barack and Michelle Obama Academy.
Wow. Kudos to Naomi. Isn't that wonderful? Aren't you proud of her?
She loves it.
Oh, wow.
I am, because her path was, now I was going through, of course, everybody knows that I'm a cancer survivor.
Sure.
So Naomi left in the middle of my treatment. So she had to grow up pretty fast, being in Atlanta on her own. But she did it. She did it.
Oh my goodness, isn't that wonderful?
And then Michael, of course, is the new pastor 1 year at the Greenwood Baptist Church in Lanett, Alabama.
Yes.
And of course, Greenwood has some much history.
Yes, they do.
Within my family.
Yes.
One of my uncles, my mom's brother, who's 95, called me at 4:30 in the morning just to tell me that my great-great-grandparents were buried at Greenwood.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
yeah.
And then to, growing up, we were always at Greenwood too, when Reverend Glover was there. You remember that? And
yes.
we would fellowship. I went to Rehoboth, and you all went to your dad's church.
Evening Springs.
Reverend
that's right. Elijah Jackson.
That's where you actually grew up.
But when Mom and Dad moved to Greenwood, Mama visited Greenwood a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
So we have history there too, just growing up and being in the area. Well, that is so awesome. Such an awesome family, and I know you're super proud of you.
And don't let me forget my 3 wonderful granddaughters.
Oh, yes. Oh, you have all girls?
All girls.
Oh, my goodness.
They're
We'll wait on a
7,
boy.
Decker, and Banks.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? 3 girls.
3 girls.
They're going to grow up and be just like grandmama. I love it. Well, listen, tell us a little bit about your education. And, I know you went to college, and, tell us a little bit what you majored in and why.
I attend Southern Union here and there, and, how I got married early, and I had the 2 boys. And at 30 years old, I found myself divorced.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so I decided that I needed to go back to school. Okay. And it took me longer than, working full time and with children.
Yes.
But you can do it. Yeah. And I say that to the women out there. You can do it.
You better say that.
You might not get the job of your choice, but with that education and that degree, it will open up doors that you wouldn't be able to go through. I finished Southern Union, and I thought, that's pretty good. So I think I'll go a little further.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I started Troy, and then it was really difficult for me I was almost to the end, but with boys, that was a little, the things that they needed to do,
that's
the
right.
activities.
Sports
Mine's always, they had to play football, basketball.
Every sport.
Everything. So I decided to change over and go to Faulkner University, which was on the weekends.
Very good.
So that worked for me. And so I was able to complete my degree at Faulkner. And then I decided later on to go to Troy State, and that's where I got my MBA.
Oh, wow. And that's awesome. And what was that in?
A Master of Business Administration.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that is fantastic. Well, now, you grew up with 7 siblings.
Yes.
And you kind of told me a little bit how that was. But how was that growing up with 7 siblings? It's 7 of us, too. But it was 8 of you all.
8. And I always say it like this. It was 8 of us, Big Mama, and a dog. A lot of times people will tell me all the time, they say they remember my daddy having this station wagon and all of us in the car going to church.
Yes.
So when you're in the middle, you're not quite with the older children, siblings or whatever, and you're not quite with the younger ones either. You're just kind of in that middle. Yeah. Now, let me tell you something interesting about me. I was a 7-month baby.
Oh,
and
wow.
So
you were early.
Premature. I was very early. So my mom said that I came into the world fighting. So I think I was a little feisty. Yeah. And some say that I still am.
Yeah. And that's okay.
But it's a survivor mode.
Yes, because you had to.
Yes. Yeah. So that's. I mean, it is what it is.
That's right. Exactly. And you survived, and you're still here.
Yes. Yeah. God is good.
But I know
God
most of your family, so they are wonderful.
They're good. They're
wonderful
good.
people.
Yeah.
And not only that, I remember your mom and your dad. They was just pillars in the community. They was just, just wonderful, loving people. We loved them. And I think my cousin, Sophronia, I think your dad was her goddad.
Yes.
Her granddad.
Yes.
It was her granddad, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And she loved him. And,
and she even had Mama, when she got married, Mother walked in.
Oh.
She was so proud of that.
Oh, isn't that
and she's
wonderful?
also my sorority sister.
That's right. Isn't that wonderful? Look at God. He just put it all together. But I remember your parents and, what they brought to the community and the church world. And they were just wonderful. So growing up with such esteemed parents, your dad being a pastor and all that, what are some of the core values that they instilled in you as a child that you still value and live out today?
Well, my Sandra means helper and helper of mankind.
Oh, wow.
So just by giving the birth name, instill in all of us to be able to help someone.
That's powerful.
So
that's awesome, because when we name our children, and I'm sure they thought it out before they named you, and now you're living out that name, and a helper, and a helper in a lot of different ways in the community, mainly in the community, and I'm sure among your family as well. So that is just awesome, living it out, the helper. So you have a gift to help people, and that's what you love the most. That's awesome. So share with us, since you are the first Black woman to manage the senior home in Lynette.
Senior Center, Lynette Senior Center.
In Lynette. How was you able to manage that? How did that come about?
Well, after my breast cancer diagnosis, I just kind of wanted something to do. I worked 37 years. I actually started by being the first Black to work in an office at Interstate Valley Telephone Company.
I remember that.
And that was in May 22nd, 1977. So the phone company, I actually changed over to Knology and Wow. So after working 37 years, working on a computer every day, I had severe carpal tunnel.
Yes.
So I came out for a little while, and they terminated my job. A few months later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
All things work together for the good.
And so I needed something to do. And so at that time, Mayor Kyle McCoy and Lynette, I asked, do you have something that, I can do just a couple of hours?
Yes.
And so I started working in the transit. And so working with seniors, that was the kind of like the beginning. And so once again, COVID hit, and we had to go home, and I worked from home for about 6 months. And when we came back, someone else was in the position.
Wow. Okay.
And so I worked for CID for a little while. And so I worked there for a little while, and even that turned out to be a blessing, because I was considered a first responder.
Oh my goodness!
So we were the first to actually receive the COVID vaccinations.
Oh wow! What?
Yes,
that is awesome.
So I thought it was a blessing at the time.
Yes.
And so the senior center manager decided to retire.
Okay.
And I was asked, would I take the position? And of course I said no. I love
did
working.
You say no?
I said no. I was only working 4 hours a day in the afternoons, and
Had
so
your
I
freedom.
could sleep mornings and just kind of be off when I wanted to be off.
Right.
The guy had another plan.
Okay, let's hear that plan.
I wasn't forced to take the job, but I said, okay. They kept asking, and so I said, well, if I take it, can I go back to my other job if I just decide that I don't like it?
That's right.
And of course, Mayor Jamie Hurd, I've asked that several times.
That's right. I know
He refused to let me go back.
Goodness.
No, I love it. And so, through God, I was able to turn the program around.
How awesome is that? Wow.
Turn it around.
God knew you could do it.
Well, with his help, we have so many programs.
Yes.
First thing was, the first year was remodeling the building. I thought that I didn't want it to look like the old Lanier School.
That's right.
We're not a school. We're a senior center.
That's right.
So we painted and hung pictures, and we put TVs on the wall and flowers and
brought it to life.
And one of the old employees said, "This doesn't look like an assisted living home anymore." Never did. It never did.
Yes.
So there are so many resources and things that are available for seniors that we don't know about.
Wow.
We don't know.
Right. But you were able to help them
I'm always researching and trying to find new ways to help.
That's awesome. How fulfilling is that, to be able to help?
They're my family.
Yes, they're your babies.
Yes.
Yes. I saw on Facebook a while back, I think you had a pageant or something.
Valentine, King, and Queen.
Yes. And I think my Aunt Miss Maddie Brock Williams, Brock.
No,
Miss Maddie.
she might have won the Valley.
That's
that
what
was
it
a
was.
Valley, but Miss Jewel Nellums from Lynette won ours, and Floyd Akins.
Okay,
One
okay.
of the ones that we had.
Okay.
But I try to have something, some type of celebration
Mm-hmm.
every holiday. Even if it's dog and cat day, we celebrate.
I love it.
So it's from Valentine's parties, St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving dinner,
Yes.
Christmas. The
biggest
employees
thing.
of the city, the mayor, and all the employees adopted the seniors because the center is actually closed for 2 weeks.
Right, for Christmas, for the holidays.
So some of the seniors might not have
Family.
food or family. So I mean, they were loaded down.
Isn't that wonderful? Look at God. You're doing such a great job. Well, how important is serving others to you, and why?
God calls all, not just Sandra. God calls all of us to be a servant
Yes, he
and to
has.
serve others. We are in a time now where people self-serve.
Right.
They only think about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the way it's supposed to be. That's
Exactly.
not God's plan.
That's right, exactly. We should be helpers one to another.
Yes.
So it's important for
And,
not just
and
you.
then still in helping and serving, don't think it's about you.
Yes.
Don't put, I mean, we're not even supposed to actually, I don't think, put it out there. You get a gift back from serving
You
others.
do. You reap what you sow. That's it.
What you say? You better say
You
that.
better say that. That's it. So if you reap good and you sow good, and if you serve well, it'll come back to you. So whatever we put out there, good or bad, it's coming back to us.
And it's not all the time money.
It's not.
Right.
It's health. It's favor. It's joy. It's peace. Good health. It comes back in so many different
and you
ways.
can't buy health.
You cannot.
Let me
All
go
the money
back
in the
and
world.
tell
Go
you
back.
about
Talk
that.
about it.
Let me talk
it.
about that.
Talk about it.
All right. At the time when I lost the job, I didn't have. It was just Naomi. And let me tell you what God can do.
Okay,
All right.
testify.
There was not any money coming into my house. I lived on, and nobody, let me tell you, I only had $250 coming in that house at the time. I mean, I know you say you need to save, you need to invest, or whatever. But after working so many years, a lot of times we don't think that something is going to happen just like that.
That's exactly correct.
I was going for my mammograms. They called me back and said, you need to follow her up. I follow her up, and I asked another doctor to look at it, and he said everything was fine.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't fine. It wasn't fine. And so I didn't have health insurance. A lot of people talked about, I know I did a post once, and one of, a elected official said that Obamacare or the health care was the GOAT. And I said, let me tell you about my GOAT.
Okay, come on now.
It paid all of my bills.
Wow.
And you know what I had
Come
to pay?
on now.
17 cents a month.
Oh, I love it. What?
And I'm not talking about a little bitty bill.
Yes.
We're talking about
major bills.
major hospital bills.
Wow.
Chemo was hard for me.
Yes, I know.
It's chemo, in order to get rid of the bad, chemo gets rid of the good too.
Yes, it
And
strips you
it
from
would
a lot.
take you almost to death, almost.
Jesus.
I found myself every time I had a treatment, in the hospital. If it had not been for my sister Ruth, everybody needs a roof, and I've said
come
that
on now.
before.
Yes.
Everybody needs a roof.
Yes. She's beautiful.
I was just really, really sick.
Yeah.
Really sick. I lost my hair. I lost down to probably almost just maybe 110 pounds, and I went from a walker to a wheelchair.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
But
my God, you don't look like what you've been through, and that's a fact.
well, like I said, God is good.
Yes, He is.
And
Oh, wow.
so I'm not going to just sit at home and not do anything.
That's
I
right.
need to honor the fact that He brought me back.
Yes, you do. You do. And you are representing
And I
God
need
well
to tell
today.
other people,
Yes.
no matter what you're going through, God can bring you back too.
Yeah, come on now. You better say that.
So
Yeah.
during that time, I once again want to thank the churches. All of the churches in the community came together and gave me, and my church, even Spring, gave me a benefit.
Yes.
And that carried me over until I could get some help.
Wow.
To get some help.
And that's what love is, and that's what serving is, serving in the community. And all of that came back to you because of what you have already given out.
And that's what you feel. It's not like you're ashamed that you're receiving, but
No.
you can't do any better.
Right,
You can't
right.
at the time. You're just in a
That's right.
spot.
Yes.
And so I remember former Mayor of Lynette, Oscar
Oscar
Crowley,
Crowley.
told me,
I
he
remember
said,
him.
Sandra, receive it.
That's right.
Because you've helped so many people,
on
and
now.
now is
It's your turn. It's
your time.
And you have a need.
But yeah, so you know, everybody came together and they helped, and that carried me through.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Well, you know what the Bible says, that God is a provider, and and He said that He would supply all of our needs, and He did that for you.
He did.
In the
He
time
did.
that you were in need.
Yes.
And so you don't have to be ashamed. God allows us to go through things for a reason. And He allowed you to go through that for a reason, and we're going to talk about that reason in just a little bit. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
You better say that. The best talk show, you better say that.
Hello, I'm Alzada Florence. I am with the East Alabama Black Chamber right here in the city of Opelika, Alabama. We're getting ready to have a walk-in for mental health on Saturday, May the 4th, 9 o'clock to 10:30 a.m. at the Sportsplex in Opelika, Alabama. We are concerned about mental health, and we want you to be healthy, we want you to be whole, and we want you to be healed. Mental health matters. So listen, if you're not busy, come out and join us on that day. We're going to have information, we're going to have pamphlets, we're going to have giveaways. We're also going to have great speakers that's going to come and bring awareness to mental health. So listen, if you're not busy, come and be with us on that day. God bless you. We're back. We're so glad that you could join us. We're going to continue our conversation with our amazing guests. But it has worked out for your good and for the glory of God, because now you're able to turn around and help so many other women that are in need, that have battled breast cancer, who survived, or trying to survive, and you have that testimony.
Or might have to go through it later.
Yes.
You don't know about what's going to happen
in
down
life.
that road.
Exactly.
So women, please, go get your mammogram. If they tell you you need to come back or whatever,
Go.
Go.
It's important.
Go.
It's important.
Because black women are diagnosed earlier. We're the most likely to die from breast cancer.
Wow.
Genetics are where we most of the time get the most aggressive
Yes.
form of breast cancer.
Yes, we do. We do.
And we don't do a lot of clinical studies
Study on
either,
that, yeah,
because we're
that's true.
afraid that something is going to happen.
That's exactly right.
But that's a way of helping someone else down the road.
Yes. Knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more you understand, and and bring awareness to the situation. People are more prone to make sure that they take care of themselves and go get their mammograms, go get their their yearly checkups that they need, because it's so important. When I look at you and how beautiful you are, you remind me of my grandmother. You remember my grandmother, Miss Alzada, who I'm named after.
Yes.
But my grandmother was, I think, in her 30s, late 30s, or early 40s, but she survived breast cancer. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
She had breast cancer when she was younger, and she survived it back in the 60s, maybe, or maybe 70s, in the 70s, but she survived it, and she lived to be 82, almost 83, but she survived. She was a breast cancer survivor.
Wow.
And she lived, and God brought her through that, and I try not to cry. But I feel like God left her here and allowed her to survive that to help take care of us. because my dad and mom divorced when we were little kids. I was 4, and my dad was in the military. He did not need to come out. He needed to stay, and so we had to go live with my grandmother. But she took care of us, for 4 or 5 years until we were like, till I was 12, and it was 4 of us, and she needed to take care of us. So she took care of her last 4 kids. She took care of the 4 of us and my cousin. So that was 9 kids almost in one house together. So you talk about a big family. Even though we were the grandkids, we grew up with her last 4 babies and then our cousins. So, but for her to survive that in those days.
You were probably her reason.
Yes, that's what I want to believe.
Here, yes.
Because this thing, I don't know what would have happened to us had not she been there. So, so all things have worked together it works for her good and for the glory of God, because she laid that foundation for us. She took us to church, she, when I got saved and, didn't know where to go, I remember going back to the church because my grandmother had laid that foundation for us. So, so to God be the glory, for all that he has done. So I'm trying not to cry on the stage. But listen, you were the first Black city councilwoman in Troup County.
Not just West Point.
And not just West Point. Tell us about that. Tell us about your journey, how that came about.
And I was actually talking about this. City recently had a retreat.
Okay.
And this is my 20th year.
Wow.
And was just reelected to serve 4 more years.
Congratulations. How wonderful is that?
First time I ran for office, I lost. I lost by 10 votes.
Oh, my God. Not 10.
Not just 10. Just 10.
Okay.
And so it could have been 8 because my sons didn't go vote.
Okay.
Throw that in. And then 2 years later, I ran again and I lost by 18 votes.
Okay.
A lot of times we depend on other people to do things for us when we need to do it for ourselves.
Right.
So if you want something bad enough, you need to do it.
That's it.
And do it big.
That's right. Come on
and
now.
So I was determined that I was going to make it that 3rd time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Every afternoon when I got out of work, I hit the neighborhood.
That's right.
Naomi and I, we went everywhere. I didn't have any money, so I made flyers.
That's right. That's right.
And actually, if you were not home, I left it on your door.
That's right.
And taped it to your door because I wanted it. I wanted to be able to help and to serve. I had a little incident with the police department.
You didn't go to jail, did you, Ms. Sandra?
I didn't go to jail, but I didn't feel like I had a voice. I didn't feel like I could do anything.
Right.
And so I felt like I could be that voice for the community. And my thing was I can be a ton of help.
That's right.
There were no females, no black women. We think different.
Yes.
We made up different.
That's right. We bring a lot to the table.
So I felt like I could be that voice for that. Not just black female, but I could be the voice for the female period.
Yes.
Women with children. And at that time I was divorced. I could see the needs on a different way within the community. And so I actually won that 3rd time top vote getter.
Wow. Look at God.
Top
Amazing.
vote getter. And I've been able to, with the help of the community, be the top vote getter for 20 years.
Since then?
It's 20 years.
20 years.
Yes.
Congratulations. That is powerful. So what are some of your greatest accomplishments since you've been a councilwoman?
I would say mainly, when people come, I don't have all the answers. A lot of times people go into politics and they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do whatever. You're only one vote.
That's right.
One vote.
That's it.
One vote. But then you can be a voice and maybe you can convince somebody else to open their eyes and see something different that they have not seen before.
Sure.
So, I've been on every committee. We used to have committees, and I've been on every committee that the city has. I did start a program that I'm so proud of.
Tell us about it.
Everybody knows LaGail Autry.
Yes.
LaGail was the city clerk for the city of West Point, and Gail actually died from breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
And her family has a foundation. They've got an event coming up pretty soon.
Okay.
So I wanted to do something. And so we had an event at City Hall just to honor LaGale.
Sure.
And so that, I call that the very first black.
Wow.
And so that's actually been 20 years ago, because I think the Gagale passed in 2023.
Okay.
But it's been 20 years.
Wow.
And then the next year we had a police officer to die, and so we had that. Okay, and it led up to the year that Obama was president.
Okay, 2016.
And so, you know, we just had little small programs. We would have them at the church, but that year we had it at City Hall. We honored the first of everything, every bank, every company, the first for school boards, the first.
Wow, I know that was amazing.
It was so many people at City Hall. People were standing on the wall, sitting on the floor, and just that many was outside.
Oh my goodness.
But we do the Black History. I decided that, okay, we don't have but one school in West Point. And we say Black History, but we have a program where we honor all races.
Yes.
We didn't get here by ourselves.
That's correct. Yes.
It took everybody
to get it.
But we use that opportunity to recognize all of the children in the community.
Oh, wow.
Their accomplishment. And so I always tell the school, they say, well, what does a child have to do? I said, nothing. Just needs a little bit of encouragement.
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
We just recently had the program in February, and we had West Point Elementary School, Troop High School, Chattahoochee Learning Center.
Okay.
And we have another daycare, Invocation. They have like different shifts, so they couldn't make it this year. But normally we have Long Cane, and Point University, Springwood.
Yes.
We just honor our babies in the community.
How awesome
and
is that?
It's such a nice program. And Donna Gillum's granddaughter, Reagan, was the speaker for this year. So that in itself was
huge.
History.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? And like you said, sometimes it takes time to accomplish some things, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and we can't change things overnight. But you're striving and you're trying to get as much as done as you possibly can.
And not everybody is going to like you.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you know everybody didn't like Jesus, and he was perfect. You know they're not gonna like us.
But you still have to have the mind and the spirit is, if that person you know that didn't support you.
Yes.
But they live in the city. You need to do whatever you can to help them.
Yes, they do. Yeah. And I know you have that kind of heart, you know, because you have that God heart to help everybody.
I try.
Yeah, you do.
I try.
Yes, you do. But after 20 years, somebody's loving you over there.
Let me talk a little bit about how I became the queen.
That was the next question. Let's talk about the queen.
I've never been I was in a pageant when I was in high school, and I didn't place. I didn't.
You didn't win or do anything.
I didn't win, and I'm like, I won't ever do that again. Frances, we call her Pale Reeves.
Okay.
Was in her 90s, lives in West Point.
Oh, how
and
sweet.
She's a former queen. And she asked, would I be in the pageant? And I told her, I'll think about it. And I was not thinking about it.
And wasn't going to do it, I'm sure.
Nope. And so she sent Zelma Broggs.
Yes.
My cousin, my family. She sent Zelma to my house with the application.
She did not.
She did. So.
She was adamant about you being in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, a week before the pageant, I had an accident. My dog tripped me.
Oh my goodness.
And I fell down some steps, so I didn't think it was going to be possible. Of course, it was during COVID.
Okay.
I keep going back to COVID.
COVID was a blessing in disguise in the sense.
But I was just kind of afraid to be in it. And then I had a black eye, and my cheeks were all swollen and whatever. But you have to do talent,
Yes.
interview, a gown.
That's
I
right.
mean,
Everything that works.
yes,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
real pageant. And it was held every year downtown West Point. It was
Okay.
Miss Southwest Classic Beauty Pageant.
Okay.
And so because it was in the city of West Point, I decided
To go ahead.
to go ahead and do
Wow.
it. And never did dream in a million years that I would win.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
But I didn't know
What-
the other part.
What was the other part?
The other part was I had to go to state.
The next level. Oh, this is
I was
huge.
I was only the queen for West Point.
Point.
Just a month or two. Had to go, and it was held in Roswell, Georgia.
Yes, yes.
And so God blessed me, and I won again.
Oh, look, I won again.
I won again. I won.
And you've been winning ever since.
But look,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a platform,
Yes, you do.
and my platform was breast cancer.
Oh, yes. Oh, no, look
So,
at girls.
Being the queen gave
at
me
God.
the opportunity
Mm.
to talk about it, to
Yes.
share the good news
That's right.
that you too can survive.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, you better say that. So the queen had to have a platform. And God gave you
Yes, he did.
a platform.
Yes, he did.
He gave you a testimony. He did it. And it all have, again, worked together for you good. Because, see, God can see further down the road than we can. He knew that you was going to be the queen. He knew that you was going to need a platform. So he gave it to you.
He gave it
so
to
that
me.
you can be a blessing. And everybody needs to hear that story. A lot of women needs to hear what you've been through.
And my
what I've
talent
been
was Proud Mary, Tina Turner.
through. Yes, I saw that. I saw it. I saw that on Facebook. You killed it. You killed it. I love it.
Well, Tina has a story
Yes, she does.
And
Of abuse.
of abuse, how
Yes.
someone just controlled her life.
Yes.
But
survived.
she survived.
She survived it. She survived it all. Mm.
She survived it.
Yes.
She became Tina, not anime.
Come on now. She left anime behind.
Yes, she did.
And she reached
Yes,
her
she
she
did.
reached her purpose and her destiny in the singing industry. She was a powerful woman because she went through a lot. You know, of course I don't know her personally and we don't, but we saw some of her story.
Right, we know the story.
We know the story, and I'm
story.
sure the wasn't
And so,
told.
ladies out there, sometimes you might have a story.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want to encourage you to know that you don't have to stay.
In the shape that you're in.
You can go forward.
Yes, yes, yes. You can overcome. You can overcome.
Whether or not it's breast cancer or any kind of illness. And
Mhm.
I wanted to share, too, a little bit.
Go ahead.
My dad died from prostate cancer.
Okay.
Men, get yourself checked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Get yourself checked.
Yes. It's important.
My mom died from ovarian cancer, and we overlooked all of the symptoms.
Oh, wow.
Fullness, can't eat very much. My mom would always carry her little Ziploc bag because she would say, I can't eat very much.
Oh.
And we didn't see that. Pain in her back had been hurting all her life, all years, for years.
Wow. Wow. Just didn't know.
I had a doctor tell me recently, once you get a certain age, you don't need a pap test anymore.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
No.
I don't.
believe that, right. Because you still need
And
to
if,
take care of
a
yourself.
physician tell you something like that, go see someone else.
Yes. And then you can just demand that you want one.
Well,
It's a part of you taking care of yourself. It's self-care. You know, and they should honor your request for that. I feel that's what I feel like. Don't you feel like that?
so she had not had a pap in
a couple
several
years.
years because, you know, she was like, well, the doctor says you don't really need that anymore.
And had she had one, maybe they would have
Maybe
caught it
and or caught it early enough, so she would have been able to survive.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
That's a hard one.
It is. I understand. My dad, you know, my mom had colon cancer, but she survived it. She caught it in time. She did. She was in her 50s, and she had a pain in her side, and she never had a colonoscopy. But when she went to her doctor, Dr. Kamath, I think he's still there now.
He is.
Yes, his brother passed, but he's still there, and he took really good care of my mom. And he said, well, we're going to do a colonoscopy. Just think, he said that had she waited 6 more months to a year, get that yearly checkup, but had she waited 6 more months, it would have been too late. But they caught it in time, and Mama lived to be 76. And, she was murdered, but she wasn't, but, it was a different thing. But, because you have to take care of yourself, and that's very important. And we have to be proactive when it comes to taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
So that's exactly. So this beauty queen, being a woman who have accomplished so much, what message would you like to share with other women aspiring to do great things?
A lot of times as women, I think we have a tendency to depend on other people for our future, for our growth. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes it's okay to be a little selfish and to think about yourself. Mm-hmm. Life can be hard.
It is, and it can be. Mm-hmm.
But most of the time people say it's fair. Just wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude.
Yes, very good. Very attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
Be grateful.
Be grateful for the little bitty things.
Yes. And strive to be the best you can be. I preach Sunday about embracing the you within. We're all different. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different gifts, talents, and abilities. And so it's not good for me to want to be you to want to be me, or want to be someone else. Embrace who we are, and when we are at our best, when we are who we are and who God called us to be. Jeremiah 29:11 says that he knows the thoughts and the plans that he thinks towards us for their good, for they're not evil, to bring us to an expected end. So God has his own plan for us, and we need to make sure that we walk it out. What are your thoughts on just walking out your God-given plan?
Well, I want to throw this in. Mm-hmm. Most women have a jealousy spirit.
Oh, now it's time to go, because you better say that. Talk about it.
You don't know what that person has been through in order to get where they are at this present time. We need to start celebrating each other.
Yes. Celebrate.
Pat your sisters on the back.
Push them.
Stop being haters.
Yes. You better say that.
Because you're only hurting yourself. You're hurting your inner feelings. You're hurting your growth. Jealousy is
it's a monster.
It's a monster. Bad spirit.
Yes, it is.
Really bad spirit.
Yes, it is. Yes. And it can be damaging, like you said, to yourself. And if other people know that you're jealous of them, it will make them feel some kind of way, especially if you consider yourself a friend, or a family member, someone that's close to you, and you find out that you're trying to do what God has called and assigned you to do, or either what you aspire to do, what you desire to do, and then you got someone that's hating on you instead of encouraging you and pushing you and supporting you, and like you said, and celebrating you. That's harmful and it's hurtful.
I remember years ago I had a neighbor, and she was from a different area. Actually, she lived in Valley.
Okay.
And so I didn't know a lot of people, a lot of ladies from Valley. And so I went to an event with her. It was just a bunch of ladies sitting around talking, and we had a ball.
Yes.
And one of the ladies even told me, she said, I like you. I didn't like you before. I didn't know you. But I didn't like you.
Wow.
But you
didn't even know
you're an okay person. And I was like, well, what did I do?
Nothing.
She said nothing.
Exactly.
She didn't know me.
Right. She was on the outside looking in. She herself had some insecurities. And a lot of times when we're jealous of someone else, the problem doesn't stem with them. It stems from within us. Don't you think?
And I was like, wow. Wow. And we became really good friends.
Oh, wow. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Awesome. That is awesome. Well, I tell you what, Beauty Queen, Ms. Sandra Thornton, this has been fulfilling. This has been amazing. This has been so enlightening. And your story is one to be told. Have you ever written a book?
No.
Okay,
No.
well.
My sister tells me that all the time.
Oh,
I
really?
need to
So
write
then
a
I'm
book.
not too far in left field.
Well, before we close,
Yes.
I've got to mention my extra daughters and my other granddaughter,
You sure
Kanisha.
do. Yes.
Kanisha,
and
my
Courtney.
baby, would graduate from Tuskegee in a few months.
Yes.
And then I also have Courtney Winston. That's
Yes.
what I call her, Courtney Winston.
That's who she is.
Which is an executive for Bank of America.
Right.
And then I have my other daughter, Jason's wife, Shelia Forte.
Okay.
Which she is an executive with Sirius Radio, changed from Pandora.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
recently.
Yes.
So,
And she lives in Atlanta. Okay.
yes.
Awesome. Well,
And
congratulations.
don't forget my Willie.
Don't forget, you better say something about your Willie. He's with us today. He's in the audience, and we are so glad that he is chauffeuring the queen around and taking good care of her.
He's driving Miss Daisy.
Driving Miss Daisy. Driving Ms.Sandra. How about that?
Okay.
I love it. So listen, thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sorry that it took me so long to get here.
Oh, that's okay. Today, now is the time. So you're on time. You're on time. Now is the time, and so we're in the right time. It's God's time.
God's time.
Exactly. So I'm
It's
excited.
perfect.
And you look so beautiful.
Keep on doing what you do.
I'm gonna hang on in here.
Giving out information, but most importantly, saving souls.
Yes, amen. That's what I do best. I love it. So listen, until next time, thank you for tuning in to the You Better Say That talk show. Listen, check us out on the Facebook page and my YouTube page. Until next time, God bless you. We'll see you soon.
You better say that. The best talk show, you better say that. The guests on the show, you